Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of Deliver Us the Moon. I'm Vic and you're watching yet another Let's Play channel, and we are in the thick of it here, so I'm gonna get moving. I have a feeling that we're gonna do some hurdles here. Yep, there we go. That's not too bad, he said before he died. Oh, okay. You know, Rolf, you could grab some ledges. That would be just very convenient. Okay, so quick recap. We are in the helium-3 fusion reactor. We injected what I assume is the very last helium fuel canister, which seems a little out of place to me. And then we got flash fried. I think we're now on our way to align the antenna, which, if it had been up to me, we would have done first. Okay. Alright. And now we jump on top of the platform as it pops out. Yeah. And in we go. I believe I commented last time that this place was an OSHA nightmare, and I stand by that.
Overloaded. System integrity at 60%.
Should I cut these? Those look cut worthy. They're probably not supposed to be cut. Align the antenna.
Releasing reserves. NPT overloading.
I'm starting to think Rolf might not make it.
NPT overloading. NPT overloading.
Oh, buddy.
NPT overloading. System integrity at 50%. Alarm NPT to resume transmission and relieve pressure.
What kind of pressure are we talking about here? I mean, are we talking about a battery that's overcharged? Why are we not just dumping the excess power to ground? Is there not an available ground? That doesn't make any sense. All right, come on, Ralph. All right, we'll go this way. That looks alignment E. Ralph, keep together.
NPT overload. System integrity at 30%.
Buddy. No, go back. Hey. Guys, I think Rolf is dying. This is like a Metal Gear Solid 4 moment right here. Hey, come on. I'm not doing this. The game is doing this. No. Stay on target. Come on.
NPT overload. System integrity at 10%. Alignment successful. Standing by to resume transmission.
And that beam will make it to Earth in, I don't know, 10 or 12 days probably. Look at how slow it's going. That's the tower that fell on our truck. How is this even working? And up it goes to broken Pearson Station. Or that we're missing out on some really triumphant music right now. Look at that stuff just floating there. There is gravity, you know. I guess it really hasn't had very long to drift, though. I mean, we've only been at this a few hours. And off it goes to Earth. Yeah, there's definitely some music playing right now. Maybe I can find something in the in the copyright-free library to put over it. I hope I didn't just start up an episode just to watch the end video sequence here.
I can't believe this. We're receiving energy. Just back online, the MPT is transmitting. All systems are running. Global reception levels are rising. You've done it, Noel.
Alright, I guess we've got a little bit more to do before we succumb to our injuries. That thing's noisy. Why not just have a little nap, Rolf? It's okay. Man, and Claire is still back there running her mouth. Jeez. Cryotube? So is she not dead after all? Okay, there is not anything wrong with the recording. There is no sound for this segment. I'm betting that this is another very musical moment. Oh, buddy. And now his watch is ended. That's a hell of a moment. Delivered us the moon. That's it. End credits. 11 minutes in. Okay. Well, that was a hell of a story. No xenomorphs after all, Tyson. Too bad about that. But I like that a lot. We had some fun space travel and a little bit of a twist. I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get to go and see the last remaining vehicle from Outward, since it's apparently still there. We didn't get to find out what happened to Isaac. I mean, he's either still kicking around or he's rotting someplace. I would really like to know where the Outward mission went. Did they just go to space? I mean, I suppose the obvious conclusion is that they went to Mars, but I don't know that there's a particularly good reason to think that Mars was a viable option. Still, they spent, sounds like, the better part of a decade preparing. And they took what I assume is an awful lot of helium with them, so their power is not a problem. But the thing about deep space is that you've got to have radiation protection. And for that, what you really need is water. And water is good for sustaining life, too. We do think that there is subterranean water on the moon, I believe. Well, and actually, I think we know that there's even surface water now, frozen, of course. And I suppose these colonies must have been pretty much self-sustaining. It's a lot of people to be shipping food and water up to. And they left quite a bit of water behind in that spy center that William was operating. I think there's probably some room for... Oh.
Vestia 3 to ground control. We found them.
Okay, so I guess with the power restored, they were able to send an additional mission, and Claire took herself up there. Presumably Rolf didn't make it. But maybe they were able to get Sarah out of there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think there's probably room here for a sequel. because like I said, we still don't know what the resolution for Isaac was. And it would be kind of interesting to follow a deep space mission to follow outward and capture them and bring them back to Earth for trial. I think that'd be pretty solid. It could be an Aliens 2 sort of situation where we bring a ship full of space marines to go and execute a combat mission. Be a very different pace and tone, though. A lot of really great moments in there. I definitely got goosebumps when we launched the rocket from Earth. And I'm sure that if I watched it back, that there would be some others that I would remember. The whole going on a solo mission really lends a very epic feeling to this journey. I thought it was an interesting choice that they didn't tell us we were Rolf up front. That seemed like a pretty late revelation. I wonder what the motivation for that was. I suppose telling us that we were Rolf before we understood who Rolf was wouldn't have really conveyed the gravity of that fact. And so maybe it's just that we learned it as soon as we could put it in its proper context. I'm going to have to check these guys out and see if they've got anything else good. Because this was definitely a quality production. And I'm a little bit surprised that none of the folks that I watch have played this before now. I don't remember noticing when it actually came out. Whenever I put the info into the video description in YouTube, it says 2018, which I don't think I believe. I think it came out more recently than that, but maybe it's just that it hadn't made it until Steam until then. Minnie the Pug. I was not paying attention to that scroll. I think the other things that we're left thinking about are like, so we knew that that restoring the power to Earth was gonna make life better for people down there, but we also heard all of that stuff about the climate conditions and the resource shortages that make it sound like there are bigger problems back home than just power. And so, what are the people who are left behind going to do about those things? Turning the lights back on is not going to help the expanding deserts in the equatorial regions. And it seems likely that those dust storms are going to endanger the MPT receiver that we saw on our way off of Earth as well. I wonder how long it took Claire's mission to get up there. They were able to put something together in 5 years without the power from the MPT. Presumably they were able to move things along faster when the power was back on, but on the other hand, there's a lot of infrastructure decay in that time. And probably not just infrastructure decay, there's probably a lot of social decay as well. We just recently watched Texas go through just a few days of power outage, and the damage was pretty substantial. Imagine not having power for 5 years. Life would be pretty different after that. It's always fun to see these Kickstarter credits lists. You have the folks that put their real names up there, and probably some people that are using made-up names, and then all mixed in with people that are using internet handles. Flex XX 7000. There's a lot of Christians all in a row over there on the left column. Oh, they're sorting by first name. Well, that makes sense. I do not remember seeing this Kickstarter either. Which doesn't really mean very much, I guess. I mean, there are probably hundreds of things on Kickstarter fresh every day. And I certainly don't spend a lot of time just cruising Kickstarter to see what's new. More Christians? We must be in a new category, a new support level. Several Johannes there as well. I'm going to have to look up. I don't actually know if the thing about helium-3 being abundant on the moon, if that's true or not, or if it's even speculated to be true. It's an interesting and useful driver for the story in any case, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. But it doesn't help me stop wondering. And I guess now I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do next, because I was right about this being almost over, but I was thinking I might have a little bit more time to plan something. I do have another series I'm going to do with a guest in mind. Hopefully Tyson won't be too jealous that I'm seeing someone else. But I think it'll be fun to watch. I know it'll be fun to make. And so I might have to see about getting that spun up. A lot of surnames in this list that I'm not accustomed to seeing. I didn't really think about where the authors and developers for this game are based. The voice acting certainly sounded like they were native English speakers, probably American, but I've also heard plenty of people with very good accents that are not actually native English speakers. Another round of Christians there. Now that I've noticed it, I'm noticing it every time it goes by. I wonder if we're going to get any more interstitial videos or a closer at the end or anything. It's not necessary. I think that little clip from Claire pretty much wraps it up. And now that I've taken a minute to think about it, I think Rolf must have known that this was going to be a one-way trip. Especially after the structural failure at Pearson. Because even if he could get back to his vehicle up there, I think the odds are pretty good that it wasn't in condition to get him back to Earth. And I don't know that that vehicle really looked like it had fuel for a return trip anyway. Okay, and the question that raises is, how would people ordinarily have returned to Earth from the moon? And how did Rolf do it the first time? I guess the first time there was probably some kind of escape vehicle waiting for him at Pearson. And it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that all of the escape vehicles were taken when they evacuated, because they didn't think that there was going to be anybody else to evacuate. But if I was in charge of a project to generate power on the moon and operate a permanent colony, I think I'd probably have a space station with a... There we go. The end. I think I'd probably have a space station with a transit capability for shuttling stuff. Maybe Pearson and the space elevator kind of eliminated the need for that. Anyway, at this point I am rambling. I don't really feel like I have a whole lot more to say. I'll probably have some more after I've slept on it, but I will keep that to myself, I guess. And we're pretty close to a reasonable end time. So, I guess that is it for Deliver Us the Moon. The moon has been delivered, and Rolf is now at rest. So, come back and see us again. We do have plenty more Breath of the Wild to do. Got another new project coming up, and maybe some filler content while I get that other thing organized. Talk to you soon.